Hello, everyone. This is Stacy. Welcome to the landing. Hello, and welcome to the landing. I am excited today to introduce you to the sweet lady I have with me. I have loved her all my life. That's true. That's a literal statement of truth. I'm going to throw it over to you, and if you will, tell us your name, who you are, who's your crowd, where you're from.
My name is Wendy Lewis. I'm from the Westert, and my crowd are, I'm Blackie Mattie Gray's daughter, and my crowd are Carl and Clara Willis and Nita Davis Willis. And I grew up a free-range child. We could go and do and whatever we wanted to, and we stayed to the landing most of the time. And no matter where you went on the island, there was landing, and that's where we ended up every time.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And folks, as you can hear in Wendy's voice already, this might be a little emotional one, but please know that these are tears of gratitude and love. All right, so Miss Wendy, thank you for joining us today. And we are going to talk about some good times, the good old days. We've reached the age now where we have good old days to talk about.
Absolutely.
I want you to think back, and you mentioned already some of the good times of spending days on the landing. Tell us a little bit about growing up, and we especially want to focus on this time of year, this time of holidays, and Christmas is coming, of course, and that for us means family.
When I was probably 3 years old, we moved in with Grandma and Granddaddy. We lived in a little house down the branch, and then ended up moving in with Grandma and Granddaddy, Carl and Clary, to the Westert. And my earliest memories are always something cooking.
Yes, the smells. Oh, my goodness.
The aromas in that house were amazing. I remember Thanksgivings. Every Thanksgiving morning, when we got up, there was a box of ducks on the back porch. And I was tore up. I would cry myself to death and go out there and rub them and tell them how sorry I was that my daddy was coming. And, of course, Grandmama's the one that picked the ducks and cleaned the conchs and did everything. My grandmama could do anything.
Yes. She
was one of 11 children, and she raised 9 of them. There were 2 older boys. So that woman could cook.
Yes, she could.
And she's told some great stories, but always family. Mama, when we moved in there, I was 3 and Mama was expecting. Up until that point, I was the queen of the roost.
Come on, you're still the queen of the roost.
Well, I am, but
keep going.
I had to remind everybody once in a while because I'm the queen around here.
Yeah.
But we always had family. It was, the yard was always full of cars and youngins running back and forth and doors slamming and people saying, don't run through the house. And, we'd run through one door and out the other. But all the cousins came up. Mama had 2 brothers and Frederick had 4 kids by the end of it all. Well, he had 5 actually. Mama had 4, and so when we all got together, there was a crowd of us, and Mila always came. But Grandmama was the place that everybody gathered. And there was just nobody on this earth to this day can cook like she did. We've tried.
Yeah, even with her recipe, it doesn't taste the same.
It does not work.
Yep.
But one of the first things that I remember is Grandmama had those little wood, like pane windows beside her doors. I remember using those little stencils and that snow spray.
Yes.
They were the coolest, and there'd be a bell and a snowman and Santa Claus, and that was like, oh, it was so
Yes.
exciting to do that. Of course, Granddaddy was right there. He was,
I
God,
loved
there was
him.
nobody like Granddaddy, but he just made sure everything went smoothly. And the kind of the next memory that I have is Mama and Daddy and me and Bobby and Edith Gray and Mitch they were lighting a Christmas tree in Beaufort.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was there, and there was music, and they lit the tree. And I remember being on Daddy's shoulders.
Oh, so you
So
weren't
I
very
was 3
big.
years old.
Yeah.
And it was just, I don't know how to explain it. Because on Thanksgivings, everybody came over, and you always had pie and whatever, and Miss Sparks' jelly cake. Now, Grandmama could fix jelly cake, but Miss Sparks, Tom and that crowd's mama that lived to the west, if it was better than Clary's,
that's a compliment.
now let me tell you something right there. And Clary, I remember going over there with him to pick it up.
Mm-hmm.
And Miss Sparks was such a fine lady. And I just remember when I was a child, children were raised by the community.
Mm-hmm.
If I fell on my bicycle in front of somebody's house, they'd come out to me and give me a Band-Aid and put phthalate on it. And
Yeah, burn you up.
I burn you up. Then Christmases were fantabulous.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you just couldn't wait. It was the excitement of going to church, to the program. Santa Claus was there. And see, there's too much Santa Claus nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
the excitement is not like it used to be.
Yeah.
Because we only saw Santa Claus at Sears Roebuck in New Bern or Belk in New Bern. And I remember going to Belk, especially in Woolworths and whatever, shopping with Mom and Daddy. They made do. They made it work. Everybody did. We were kind of on the same boat, really. We thought we were.
Yep.
Nobody knew what was going on, and we didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, this is all we need.
Mm-hmm.
And a grocery store. So Billy Bess took care of that.
Yep.
We were the most blessed generation, I think, because we appreciated what we had. Yeah, like Santa Claus, we saw him at the parade.
Yes.
And then you didn't see that dude no more till Christmas Eve
Mm-hmm.
at the church. And it was just exciting. I mean, your heart was beating out of you. You couldn't stand it.
Yep.
And then you couldn't stand it. You wanted to get home and
Go to bed like he told you to.
I remember one time after we moved in our house, Joyce Fulford and Frank and Mark and John were up there. It was after a program. And I kept thinking, I don't know how old I was. John was a baby. But I remember thinking, I wish I had gone home. Santa Claus would come.
Yeah.
Now he ain't coming.
He's not going to come because
No,
you're awake and
you're-
keeping me awake.
Now get. But Christmas mornings were just so awesome. Let me go back a little bit. When I was 3, we lived at Grandmama's. That's my first memories. And then Lynn was born the 31st.
Of December?
So
okay.
she was a Christmas present. And we always took our tree down like Old Christmas, which Grandmama said was like the 14th to the 16th, something like that. We always had a live tree.
Mhm.
And it was so awesome just to smell it and to even
Did you all go get your trees or did you?
Mama made the tree disc appear
Uh-huh.
sometime during the week. We always had a tree,
Mm-hmm.
and she always put it up while we were at school
Uh-huh.
and wouldn't let us touch it.
Yep.
Let's touch that Christmas tree now. It's perfect.
Did you all do the white lights or the colored lights?
No, there were no white lights until I'd say late 60s.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody had the big fat colored lights.
Yep.
And it was just so pretty. And everybody had the candles in the windows. And it was simple, but extravagant. It was just, to a child, just awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then on Christmas mornings, after you got up and you ate, then you took off. You had to go visiting. You had to go see what everybody got.
Exactly.
And that was yay,
Mm-hmm.
and we looked so forward to that, especially going to Leon and Frederick's because there was a ton of stuff down there. And we just had the best time. And everywhere you went, you had to eat.
Yep.
You
Eat a piece of
know,
pie or cake.
And then the youngest took the yard,
Yep.
like we always did, because we didn't want to be in the house. We wanted to be in the yard. We had playhouses everywhere, and we always ended up in Landon. So
yeah.
it was awesome.
It's such a simple time, but so, like you said, it was just amazing.
So important.
So important. I remember much of the same with our family on the island. But I remember one Christmas, Grandma Mary Frances was with us because, she had her house in Daytona, and then she'd come and she'd stay with us at Christmas. So anyway, she was upstairs, and she was in Dwayna's bedroom, which was on the hall where Tanya and I shared a room. And Tanya and I got up, and it was very early, probably 4 or 5 o'clock. And we were going to go downstairs to see what Santa had brought. Well, we go, and Dwayna's door was open, and I hear Grandma's voice, and she says, "What are you girls doing?" We freeze. And we said, "Going downstairs." And she said, "It's too early. Go back to bed." So we turned around and we went back to bed. We tried that about 3 times, and Grandma called us every time. So Tanya and I plugged in the curling iron, and we curled each other's hair, and that was the only Christmas morning pictures that we looked presentable because we had plenty of time. So finally, Tanya wouldn't do it because Tanya was scared to do this, but she encouraged me to do this. I crawled from my bedroom to Mama and Daddy's bedroom so Grandma wouldn't see me, and woke them up and told them that Grandma wouldn't let us go see Santa Claus and stuff. And so they got up with us, and we went down there, and that was probably about 6 o'clock.
That's funny.
Yeah, I said, now I know Grandma knew that they had just gone back to bed. They were about off, leave them alone.
They were about off, leave them alone. Grandma and Granddaddy, they were in Florida with Mary Frances and Henry. They were there for 15 years. Mary Frances stayed longer.
Yeah.
But, during that time, I was 5 years old when they left.
Okay.
And I have pictures of the day that they left, and I'm standing between them, and I'm holding on for dear life. It's like, don't leave me. But the most exciting times, of course, going to Florida was so exciting, and just going in, and that smell, when you opened the door, that smell hit you right in the face, because it was, I don't know, it's the smell of love. And I told Mama, as Grandma got older, Mama didn't want her doing cooking and stuff. And I said, "Mama, that's what she does best. That's her way of giving back. Leave her alone. Leave her alone. Let her cook as long as she wants to." But going to Florida, I don't know how they did it. There was 3 youngins at the time, and from the time I was 5. I opened one of Grandma's closets, and something fell out that shouldn't have, and I was like, devastated, because what is she doing in there? She's supposed to be North Pole.
I found out too, and rummaging through the closet. But anyway.
But we did. And after everybody was born and Grandmama's house was empty and cold until they came, we had great Christmases at our house, and we all had our little pile, and it was just so exciting, and just to go and visit and see what everybody got, and to go in the yard and see all the crowd going by on their new bicycles.
Yes.
Now I get up and I stand there, and the windows are open, and I'm like, there's not a single bicycle that's been by here.
Right. Nobody in the yard.
No, nobody's in the yard. Nobody's on the road. Lynn got a pogo stick one year, and that was the time. All over the house. I don't know how they did it, but it seemed like we got everything we wanted. I don't know how.
It's amazing where did that come from? And you talk about going and visiting, because I remember we did that too. Christmas Eve, we would be at Granny Louisa's.
Yep.
And we drew names as cousins because there were so
Yep.
many of
Yeah.
us,
Yeah.
and we would exchange gifts and do all that. But Christmas morning, when we would go get in the car, I was so excited to see Jody's doll that she got and
Yes.
Billy Lynn's doll. And,
Yes.
you know, like to go to the houses and see, but there was no, oh, I like that better than what
No, no,
I got.
no.
There's nothing like that. I had
No.
my dolls with me to show them, or
Yes.
Grandma and Granddaddy would come. They would come to see what all the grand youngins
Yep.
got. And it was a feeling of, I don't know, how can we put it?
Euphoria.
There you go. There you go.
It was like, you can't beat this.
Nothing gets better than
You
this.
can't beat this.
Mhm.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
We were allowed to take our dolls to school.
Yes, and
But
to church.
Let me get back to the coming of the catalog.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, my
Please tell me about the catalog.
Well, when you got home, if Mama had been to the mail, you could smell it. I could smell that Sears catalog. I can smell it right now. And we fought over it.
Mhm.
By the time Christmas was coming, poor things tore up.
Mhm.
But I was the biggest, so I'd bully them and I'd get the catalog. And you turn down pages and you circled what you wanted. And then Joe and Aya across the road, when they moved here, she was to Miss Pearl's at the time, and we played, and we had the artificial chimney, the artificial fireplace and stuff. And we would sit there and go through the catalog, and I'd say, this is my baby that I'm going to have. She's coming December 25th. And I'm getting this stroller to go with her. And we would go through the catalog and put in our baby orders.
Mhm.
And we were going to have them Christmas.
Mhm.
And then, if you got 2 catalogs, if you got Montgomery Ward.
Mhm.
But when Halsey called and said, I've got a Spiegel catalog,
Oh.
because that was papered out Haven, see.
Uh-huh.
But we did. We visited. The house was full all the time, day in, day out. But when Grandma and Granddaddy were here, it was awesome. And then, Granddaddy passed first, and Grandmama was, she's pitiful, but me and her could do something. We could get tickled.
Uh-huh.
I remember that snow that we had that was so bad. And we finally got over here, not Christmas Day, but the day after. And that just was not to be had. I was not happy about that. But we got there, and there was a path that Daddy had made. And I went in, and Grandma wasn't there. And I said, where's Grandma? And Mom said, it's bad. She's not coming. I said, whoa, hold Christmas.
Right.
No Christmas without Clary.
Uh-huh.
It ain't happening.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you can get her over here, I said, we'll be back in a little bit. And I went over there, and we laughed. My grandma had never had pants on in her life.
Mm-hmm.
And I went in Granddaddy's clothes and dressed her up and bundled her up, and we laughed.
Oh, man.
She was the funniest thing that has ever been. I had the layers on her, buddy.
Uh-huh.
And we walked back to Mama's, and of course everybody started coming. I was like, no Christmas without Grandma ain't gonna happen.
I love it.
No, ma'am. No. And of course, when I got married and moved, they all came to my house. I mean, that was just the way it was. You just kind of went
Mm-hmm.
from one to the other.
Yep.
Cousins. And I think that's the only time Daddy didn't gripe about having to go somewhere and sit for a little while.
Right.
Was to go take us, because we demanded it.
It was kind of one of those unspoken things. Like you had
Yes.
to. There was no option.
It's down somewhere
Yeah.
that this is what you do.
That's right.
Yes.
It's been many a time in Granny Louise and Granddaddy Linwood's house where you'd look around and people were literally sitting in each other's laps because there were so
Yes.
many people.
Yep.
But everybody was smiling and laughing. It might have been hot that Christmas or whatever, but you were there
Mm-hmm.
and loving being together.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, it was a time, like you said, but that was Christmas. That was Christmas.
There was no Christmas. And, it's so sad because once Grandmama died, it wasn't that way. Now, for a couple of years, the crowd came to Mama's. And we enjoyed that. But then, I was in my house, and so my daddy would come over there. And of course, we always go to Jeff's mom's every year. They're 90 and 95.
Oh, wow.
But we go there every year and eat and enjoy each other, that side of the family. But then when Daddy died, everything was completely different. Mom didn't even want to put up a tree for a while. And I was like, yeah, you are. But looking back with the tinsel and everything, and the young one's so excited. And now you've got to say, come on, we got to open presents. It's like you almost got to beg them because they get too much during the year.
Yeah.
So you got to go stand at the bottom of the stairs and holler at them to come down because they've got what they've got, and they've gone upstairs and you don't see them.
Yeah.
That's sad.
It is.
It really is. I don't like it at all.
Yeah.
And of course, I have a problem vocalizing that. But I made my speeches. But I miss it.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. It won't ever be like that.
Never
again.
be the same. I wanted it to be
Yeah.
at my house, but it's not. I can't replace those days.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Right.
can't tell you about it if you don't know.
Right. Well, that's the truth, because when you're saying these things, it's evoking feelings in me because I know.
You
I mean, we
know.
were there. Yeah.
I think that's why I love to stop and talk to your daddy so much, because we remember.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm old, and I remember stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And if I know, I'm gonna argue with you about it.
Yeah.
It's just that way. But we went to Mama and Maddie's. I mean, we went everywhere. And of course, and when Mama went somewhere and the car doors opened, you went in, you hugged, you said hello, la la la, and then you took off.
Yeah.
And we were all over the neighborhood until we heard that squall, and it was time to go back.
Yeah. I love when you started, you said that you were free range.
We were.
Uh-huh.
We were free range youngins.
Mm-hmm.
I got up in the mornings in the summer and probably didn't even eat. I was so eager to get outdoors, and climbed on that little red bicycle that Santa Claus bought me. And we didn't have a chimney, and I did not know how it got in there. But anyway, I climbed on that little red bicycle, and I was gone. Of course, I would eat with Granny and Poppy. I was so fortunate to know my great-grandparents.
Wow. Yeah.
Daddy's grandma and granddaddy were alive until I was 17 years old.
Wendy. Wow.
Yeah. And I remember those little tiny Christmas trees that they had, because their house, they lived to the banks, and their house was sawed in too and brought to the island. I don't know how they got it up Red Hill, but they did.
Wow.
Our family was somewhere close, but then you just could go in and visit. People were glad to see, especially the old people. They were just wanted to talk. And, it's just so sad to me. I mean, things are bound to change, but there's some things that I wish were still the same. I do.
And there's some things that shouldn't change, and that part of visiting and taking time for one another. But it has. And, of course, now we're living further and further apart, and our neighbors aren't our family anymore, and, things are very different. Okay, I'm gonna go through some things and put you on the spot. And I'm going to ask you, when I say a word, what comes to mind? Okay. And I know. So we might have to censor some
I roll
of this.
here.
Okay. So thinking about Christmas, your favorite food?
Sweet potato pie.
Oh, good one. Favorite meal?
Fresh meat rutabagas.
Oh, okay.
Grandmama's fresh meat rutabagas.
Yeah, clarify, right? Because they're not all the same.
Let me make that clear.
That's right. Let's see. Your favorite gift from Santa?
Oh, me. Favorite gift from Santa would probably be that red bicycle. Yeah, I really wanted a bicycle.
Yeah. Mine would be I had a kitchen set. I got a little stove.
Oh.
And I was so excited.
I know.
Okay, how about this? Your Favorite Christmas song?
Silver Bells.
Really? Silver Bells.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Favorite family Christmas tradition? Just pick one.
That would be gathering at Grandma's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think all my cousins feel that way because they say it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's hard.
That's so
Yeah.
something. All right. And let's see the last one. The favorite Christmas.
Oh my. Now that's a hard one. Favorite Christmas. Was I don't know what year it was. I was probably 12. Well, I might have been younger than that. But we were in Daytona, and Daytona, they put on some of the finest decorations you'd ever see. And there was one area where the whole block was decorated with animated things.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there was a Santa's workshop. There was just on and on and on. But my favorite was Santa's workshop because everything was animated and Santa was working and the elves were working. And then you'd walk down to another area and, well, the next house, everybody had something.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the most awesome thing to me to see this. It
Mm-hmm.
made Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, look at this stuff.
Wow.
I have too many favorite Christmases to pick one, actually. I don't know. I remember coming over the top of the Moorhead Bridge, and Carla was a baby. She was a year old in January, so she was 11 months old. And I remember Daddy saying, look at the lights. Moorhead was decorated pretty with the swags over the road. And it little things like that, just hearing his excitement for us. Just look at this. This is awesome.
Yeah.
But, it was always wonderful to have my children down and the grandchildren. And it's getting harder every year as the grandyoungins are getting bigger. They want to do their thing and visit their friends and do their stuff.
Yep.
So maybe and Pop get in the car and go visit them now.
Yeah.
So, and I do. I just have so many good Christmas memories. But family's always involved. Family's at the top of the tree and going to church and singing and coming to the island when it's lit up. And nothing will ever be the same.
No.
Nothing will ever be the same. And you can't dwell on it. I do. I get in my sorry moods. But we were blessed.
Yeah.
We were blessed. We were rich. We were rich. We knew no different.
Right.
Everybody was equal. It didn't matter if you worked Cherry Point or if you worked in sound. Everybody was treated equally. And you weren't supposed to be ugly to nobody. And Santa Claus came to see everybody as far as I knew.
Right.
Santa Claus did not miss a house.
Yeah.
And you made do.
You
made do with what you
right.
had.
That's right. Well, this has been wonderful. Is there anything that we haven't touched on that you really want to share?
Something that tickles me is schoolhouse Christmases.
Oh
my gracious. We would go in the woods behind the schoolhouse and cut down a pine or a cedar. And we always had a Christmas tree in the room.
In the classroom.
And bless their hearts, they were the ugliest. But we thought they were the prettiest things. I look back at pictures. Mama had some ugly Christmas trees. And I looked at her one time and I said, Mama, did you intentionally get the ugliest tree on the lot? Because that's an ugly Christmas tree. Because I want you to know mine's got to be perfect. But she had 4 youngins about to kill her, so she just said, give me that one, I guess. But schoolhouse Christmases were wonderful. We made decorations and it mattered, and we gave gifts. We drew names and we gave gifts, and that was exciting.
Oh, wow.
The teacher always got a pile of gifts. That was something you looked forward to.
Yeah.
I don't know. You remember the Christmas
I do.
trees?
Now that you mention it, now I do remember.
I remember
us doing that.
Yeah, and somebody brought in a tree full of ticks. Oh my God, what a time in the schoolhouse. Yes.
Oh, I remember making the paper garland.
Yep.
And wrapping that around the trees and
popcorn.
Yep. Oh,
they were the best times. They really were.
Good times.
Yeah.
Well, Wendy, I love you.
I love you better.
Nope.
I've loved you longer.
Well, that might be true. Only because I didn't know what was going on for a few years there when I was a baby. But thank you.
You're welcome.
Very much for coming and for sharing.
I've enjoyed it.
The joy of Christmas.
I hope it stays joyful.
I hope so too. And
we got to make it.
That's right.
We got to make it.
We got to make it. So
just what we got to do.
Yeah.
Okay, baby doll.
Right. See you soon.
See you soon. Love you, mean it.
What a wonderful visit. I do enjoy speaking with Wendy. She makes me so happy. I love her a great deal. Well, folks, a new year is quickly approaching, and we here at The Landing appreciate your support and you continually coming back for more. We are going to take a brief hiatus in the month of January to look at things and to gather our thoughts and to get a whole lot ready for the year 2025. However, each week of January, please come back because we're going to share some oral histories with you that we enjoy and think you will as well. Until then, Happy New Year, stay safe, and be kind.